Ultimate podcast exploring all things Gas South District and a source for insights to events on campus and discussions on the wider entertainment and tourism industry. Please welcome the host of our show, Stan Hall, CEO of Gas South District and Explore Gwinnett.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to That's the Ticket. I'm Stan Hall, and today we're talking about one of the premier events in college sports, the ACC Women's Basketball Tournament. This tournament has a long and proud history, incredible competition, and some of the best student athletes in the country. This year also marks a significant moment as the tournament continues to grow and reach new fans in new markets. I'm joined today by Jackie Carson, Senior Vice President of Women's Basketball for the Atlantic Coast Conference, ACC, who has seen this game from every angle as a player, as a coach, and now at the conference level. She also brings a national leadership lens to the work, serving on the executive committee and as current president of the Women of Color Coaches Network. Jackie plays a key role in shaping the tournament experience, and I'm so excited to talk with her today about what makes this championship so special and what the fans can expect when they get here for this event. So, Jackie, welcome to the show. Thank you for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Stan. I'm excited.
We are so excited to have you here. Jackie, for fans who may be new to this event, what makes the ACC Women's Basketball Tournament one of the most competitive and exciting championships in college sports?
Well, if you're new for the first time, I mean, you're in for a treat this year with the how our teams are playing, the number of teams that we have competing. It's just an absolutely phenomenal event. So we have 15 of our 18 teams that qualify for the ACC tournament. Right now, we are competing for 10 spots in the NCAA tournament, our projected spots for the ACC. So hopefully our teams have a great showing. It'll be the highest number of teams ever in the ACC to go on to the NCAA tournament. So there's a lot on the line, and there's great competition. And this is not just a tournament. You know, this is an event for us. You know, we want to make sure it is fan friendly, and we're excited about bringing it to Duluth, and it's going to be the first time that it's outside North or South Carolina in tournament history. So we're very excited.
Absolutely. So, Jackie, you've seen this game, as we said, from so many different angles. You've been a player, you've been a coach. When you look back, what moments or experiences most shaped the way that you now lead the ACC Women's Basketball Tournament today?
Yeah, so great question. It's mostly because as a player, and when I was in high school is when the WNBA was formed, you know, and then college, it was mostly still overseas for women in professional basketball, and the level of athleticism and height was it seemed just normal. I look into the games now, and I'm like, gosh, that is a really talented young lady. Look, the athleticism of college women's basketball, the height,
incredible.
It is wild. I literally look at my mom and say, did we look like that when I played? And she's like, no. You know, these are women who have just perfected and strengthened the game so much at every level, the high school level, at the college level, and that's something that we're really proud of is the type of student athletes that we have in the ACC, because it's a perfect blend of a student and an athlete for our young women. But probably the crown moment is just when the exposure for women's basketball, particularly over the last 2 or 3 years, right after COVID, kind of just exploded.
Took off.
Yeah. So you now see we've always had talent. We've always had outstanding players at every level. But because it's the broadcasting rights and the ability for the tournaments to move to different locations and the visibility and more young girls wanting to play than ever before, I think it's taking off. So that's the crown moment, is just watching and tuning in on a Sunday or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on, you know, the top networks in the country. And for us at the ACC, that's ESPN and ACCN, you know, to see women's basketball on there, that used to not happen about 10 years ago.
I think it's funny, not funny in the funny sense, but as you talked about since COVID, I've always been a fan of basketball, and I don't care if it was men's or women's.
That's right.
But I would probably say in the past, if there was a choice, I would go to the men's. That's not the case anymore.
Right.
Women's basketball on the college and professional level, it's as good as any basketball, any athleticism you'll see. And as you said, it's just really amazing the talent levels that are out there now.
Absolutely. And the other difference I see, Stan, is that women's basketball, even as a coach, we kind of preach this because that's how you market. women's fans and women's players have more accessibility.
Yeah.
So the fans really feel like they're in it and a part of it, because you typically see the women's basketball players shaking hands with the fans after the game, and just
Very
on social
involved.
media. They're
Yeah.
very much intertwined
Yeah.
with the fan base. And it's not that men's basketball is not. It's just not a typical male
Yeah,
thing
you're
to
right.
see.
You're right.
So that's what makes it exciting, is that the fans, they're starting to gravitate to women's basketball, and then you see the players and the coaches that interact with them a little bit more, so they really feel like they are a part of the story, instead of just someone who's adding to viewership.
That is so true. And Jackie, you talked about this a little bit, but all conferences think they're the best conference out
Oh, yeah.
there, and maybe in their own right they are. But in this particular incident, year after year, the ACC, as you talked about, sends teams deep into postseason play and produces elite talent. What does it say about the depth and competitiveness of this conference pertaining to that?
Yeah, I mean, the ACC has always been the standard, right? And
Yeah.
then the good thing is we have been the standard, so folks are investing more in other conferences to catch up, and have a great job, have done a great job of doing that. So but the ACC, again, just the history, the level of talent that we've had, the coaching that we have. We have some of the top coaches in the country. But what it says is that we're always the standard, and so folks have to catch up to us. We don't ever deteriorate. It's not like a rebuild for us. We just
Yeah.
keep reloading with
Keep
great,
reloading.
great talent, additional teams and institutions. When we added 3 great institutions 2 years ago, so it's just the ACC is always the standard, right? And then sometimes folks are going to be like, hey, what do we need to do more to catch up to that standard? And that improves the overall image and overall game of women's basketball, right? When
Yeah.
you don't have the same schools year
right.
after year,
Yep.
which is what used to plague the women's game. It was the same 5-10 schools.
Connecticut or whatever it might
Correct,
be.
correct. The Carolinas,
Carolina, yeah.
and stuff like that. But now it's anyone. That's why this tournament particularly is special, because for the first time, there's probably, all 15 schools can make a run right now
Right.
and win this tournament.
Yeah.
It's never been done where a team has played on the first day has gone on to win it, but it's capable. We had, in our last game, we played yesterday, we only had 2 teams that secured a seed. We had a third team that could go anywhere from a 5 seed to a 9 seed, and depending on if it was a win or a loss. So that's what the parity is. What makes ACC women's basketball really special, where you
Yeah.
don't see that in most leagues.
Yeah. Jackie, let's talk a little bit about, and you mentioned this as far as the expansion of the conference and everything. The ACC, they were born in the Carolinas, and that's always sort of been their home base, and still is for a lot of
Right.
reasons. But with the expansion going all the way to the West Coast, you go all the way to the East Coast, into the Northeast, into the South. How has that changed sort of the whole formatting for a tournament like this with that type of involvement?
Yeah, so again, we've gone to 18 teams. So traditionally, the ACC has been around 15 teams for a good portion of the time. It didn't change the format too much. It just means that we couldn't include all of our schools.
Yeah.
If we did include all 18 of our schools, it's a 6-day tournament.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's beneficial, from a financial standpoint and a student athlete experience.
that's a lot.
It's a lot to go
Yeah.
6 days.
Yeah.
Is that student athlete welfare?
Yeah.
From the standpoint, is that good for your bodies to
Yeah.
compete for
Yeah.
6 straight days for some schools? But it's only changed from a tournament standpoint that not every school participates, which is
right.
unfortunate. But as far as the format, it just makes it an exciting brand, because the regular season means a little bit more. Before, everyone could come and catch on fire and kind of do something. You have to compete to get here first, and then you're competing for that trophy.
Yeah, the local media here has sort of been spotlighting this tournament coming here, and they've made some special mentions of Gwinnett players that are going to be in the tournament.
Yes.
And it sounded from what they were saying that they were so excited to come here for this tournament.
Yeah.
But from your perspective, what does a tournament mean for the student athlete in general and the coaches who are competing here?
You have to think, again, we've had a standard in ACC women's basketball for a long time where we send a lot of teams to the tournament. But for some, this is the last games they're going to
Yeah,
play
that's
in,
true.
sometimes for seniors.
Yeah.
We want them to have an absolutely amazing feel and environment. A tournament is fun. and just to compete. You're competing for a championship. So there's a couple things, particularly in the ACC. You're competing day in and day out for ACC championship. You want that title, you want that banner hung, you want the rings and everything comes
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
And then the next thing that you compete for is a national championship. So this is the first rung in that ladder. It means a great deal to our schools to have Duke be our regular season champion. That
Yeah.
means a great deal. You
Yeah.
can see how those schools are celebrating it, and it's the tournament is everything, and that's why we're grateful to partners like Ally, who's our tournament
Yes,
sponsor,
of
because
course.
they heighten the student athlete experience like none other. And that's why we're also grateful to everyone on the Gas South District campus, because they're going to make this tournament feel super special for our student athletes with some added things that no other
Yeah.
tournament will ever see.
Absolutely. So, Jackie, when people come to the game, they're going to come see best quality basketball you
yeah.
can expect.
Absolutely.
And for some fans, that's all they think about when they have the tournament. But talk a little bit about what are some of the behind-the-scenes elements that fans may not even realize that are required to pull off an event like the ACC Championship Tournament?
Goodness, first of all, I don't know how long, this is a year-long process.
It didn't start 2 weeks
It
ago,
did
did
not
it?
start 2 weeks ago. It is a lot. It is a huge lift, because again, we want to make it special for our student athletes and our
Yeah.
coaches.
Yeah.
There's nothing grander for us on our women's basketball staff. Our top pinnacle moment that we produce is our tournament.
Yeah.
And so we have to make sure we are carefully mapping out the location, the fan bases, can our schools, the accessibility to our schools, the size of the arena, just all of the things that come with it, because in our branding is very important. The ACC marketing and the messaging is very important. So we want folks to walk into that arena or walk into that city and just be like, wow, I see ACC everywhere. I see Ally everywhere. So that's really, really important to us. So we look a little bit different than everyone else, because we take a huge amount of pride in making sure our voice and our messaging is saying a lot without vocally saying anything.
Yeah.
So our messaging and just planning, to the meticulous, to the locker plates, to the
Everything.
name badges, to everything, we have a brand new floor. That has been almost a year and a half process of what the floor is going to look like, and how the goals are sized, and just the fan experience means a lot to us. This is an event. It's not just a basketball game. So what are the things that we can put around it, like Fan Fest and VIP and hospitality experiences. So we're always constantly listening to the fans, the players, the coaches, the administrators, so that we can evolve and continue to get stronger.
Yeah, as you know, and as you can imagine, we have a lot of big events in that building.
Oh, yeah.
But today, before this taping, I walked over the arena and I was just sort of, being nosy and snooping around. Nobody knew who I was, so I'm just in and out.
They know who you are, Stan.
But I'm telling you, the evolution from when the trucks first get here and start
yeah.
unloading all that equipment to when the fans get here and see that first game, it is so much work that these guys
absolutely.
are doing over there. And they turn that thing into something. When you see it today, it's like, I don't think they're going to have time to do it
Right.
all. And then when you walk in, it's like you're walking into Oz over there. So,
Absolutely. It's what's wild about it, Stan, is that we have great coaches in our league. And so when we were trying to walk through and see if this was the right venue for us, we have one of our coaches come with us.
Yeah.
And this year it was Brooke, who's the head coach at Florida State.
Yeah.
And so again, when she arrives normally in Greensboro, she's seeing an arena that's already done. The lipstick is on and
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
And so when she comes over to a building and she's like, well, I don't know. I said, you have to use your imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't look how
Doesn't look
you're
like
used to looking, and that's what it's going to happen for our student athletes and coaches. They can come in here in a normal, when a concert is set up or
Yeah.
it's not set up for ACC play, it just looks
it
different.
looks totally different.
Yes, but when they walk into that building, and you've seen that building day in and day out, different events, it just feels different, and we want it to feel special and different for them the second that they walk in.
But there was one of the mentions in the paper talking about this was whoever was writing the article had never seen basketball in this arena before. Of course, we've had basketball here a lot.
Right.
But it is a beautiful background and a backdrop for basketball when that court goes on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
I think all your players and fans and coaches are going to be just so thrilled about how cool it looks when we get inside there.
Oh, absolutely.
So we're excited about that. Jackie, how important is it for the tournament to feel welcoming, as we just talked about, to both longtime ACC supporters and maybe the first-time attendees that are coming in have never seen this before.
Absolutely. So again, this is a brand of basketball that we're very proud of, and it was not an easy choice to leave Greensboro.
Yeah.
Greensboro has been home to not only to ACC women's basketball but to ACC office for a long time. We are now based out of Charlotte, so it comes with a lot of careful thought that we had to move it out of Greensboro. But this was the opportunity with how our conference is expanding. Again, our coaches having an interest in saying, "Hey, can we venture out?" We'll return to Greensboro likely sometime in the future, but it's very important that our fans who have only seen the tournament in one location for about 25, 26 years still feel like they are connected, and that's what ACC women's basketball does. Different location, but we still want to honor what Greensboro has done in our other tournament locations.
The history of it.
And we still want them to feel like they can follow ACC women's basketball despite wherever the location is. So we're really interested in branching out to other places and winning over some of those folks who are not the Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket fans that are local here. But we've done a great job of reaching out to those alumni bases and for all of our 18 institutions and making sure we win over some other fans as well that are ready to see some high quality basketball at a championship level.
No doubt about it. And Jackie, you talked about moving out of Greensboro. Obviously, Gas South District, Duluth here, we weren't the only people that wanted to bring that tournament by a long shot.
Right.
But what do you think it was that stood out about bringing the tournament here and introducing it to a new market, as you said?
Well, again, my former life was a coach. And so I used to tell my staff there's something special about folks that really want you to be a part of something.
That's right.
And that was the same thing we used to tell a recruit. I'd look at her and maybe she didn't have all the tangibles that this kid had, but I said, there's something special about a kid who really wants to be a part of your program. To me, that was the folks here at Gas South and then Gwinnett County Sports Commission. They wanted us here. Everyone else put through a bid, but I don't know if there was as much passion behind that bid, as much thought put behind that bid, and just consideration of how can we get ACC women's basketball here. To me, that was the differentiator. Was it about the financial? It's like, no, who's going to welcome us? Who's going to make our teams and our coaches and our student athletes and feel like that this is that tournament experience that they've had in Greensboro? And it was evident from the beginning that this was the place that we need to be to make that happen.
Well, I'm just going to tell you this. As the leader of this organization, that makes me really happy what you just said.
I'm sure. Because
it makes me really happy
that
what
trickles
you just
down,
said.
Stan. It really was absolutely phenomenal.
Jackie, when the final horn sounds for this tournament, how do you define success for the tournament beyond just who cuts down the nets as the champion?
Yeah, so I again, now leaving that coach's world, the championship looks a little bit different for me, right? So it's looking into the stands and folks saying, oh, gosh, that was amazing. And talking about the game, but also talking about the experience that they have surrounding the tournament. So FanFest, again, that's one of the things that you can come enjoy our tournament without having to pay $1. FanFest is open to the public. It's free of charge. So maybe you have a large family, don't want to pay to get into the game. You still can enjoy ACC women's basketball and everything that has to offer. So success to me is folks coming over and saying that was an amazing experience. It's our student athletes looking and seeing the stands and people cheering and developing some new fans with a new affinity for ACC women's basketball just because maybe they haven't seen it before, assessed it before. So
and you want that feedback.
That's what we want it.
Yeah,
we want good, bad, and different.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
can't grow just off of positivity. You need a little bit of little rain to help some growth. And so and we take those surveys. We survey all of our fans afterwards, and we hear the feedback and we grow from the feedback. So that's what success will look like, is that we hear more people say, I had an amazing time. This was great. But we also want to hear, this could be better, or I wish we could do this instead. And we've evolved this tournament year after year, and we've changed something every single year to try to make it better.
Jackie, talk a little bit about the seating and how that works, because I know that just happened yesterday. Is that correct as far?
Because of our parity stand, most tournaments knew who the seating
knew.
was. Yeah, no, but that's so obviously the seating is we play an 18-game schedule, a conference schedule. You have 20 play dates, so there's 2 dates that you have an open or a bye, and there's one opponent that you play twice. So And those rivalries are kind of built. So for like a Duke Carolina, you're not going to split up that. That's a
Yeah.
rivalry game. You know,
Right.
you have Virginia Tech. So for Georgia Tech fans, Clemson is the rival on
Yeah.
the women's side, just
Yeah.
because of proximity or just kind of how those games go. We had so many teams that were 10-6, or like it was wild going into two games to play. Before Thursday's game, so our last two games were Thursday, Sunday. Before Thursday, we did not know one single seed. We knew
Wow.
our 15 teams, not one single seed until Thursday's
That's a little
games.
scary in
That
itself,
was
wasn't it?
scary, yes. You should have. We kind of print out our tiebreak scenarios. It was like 3-4 pages. It was just nonstop.
Could
They
be this, might be that,
It
right?
was the longest, most. I had to stop reading it. I was
Yeah.
like, just tell me when somebody clinches. That seems right. And then after Thursday's game, we only knew, I believe, 2 seats, 3 seats. So there was still one team out
Yeah.
there, multiple teams competing for the last double bye space,
Yeah.
which made Sunday's games even more just compelling. And like I said, we had a team that competed yesterday that could be as high as 5 and as low as 10.
Oh, yeah.
And just win or lose. And so that's how much fun our league has been able to watch. You don't know who every game is going to be a great game. There's no easy games coming up. Everyone's competing. Even the bottom teams have given a lot of our top teams a scare. So it's really going to be some fun basketball to watch over the course of the next 5 days.
It's going to be so much fun. And you talked a few minutes ago about the WNBA and how that league has evolved. But if anybody who is a fan and they look on the rosters of those teams, ACC is all over those teams.
All over the place.
And some of the folks we're going to see in this tournament today, you're going to see them again in the WNBA for sure, right?
Absolutely. And you'll see a lot of those WNBA players that you mentioned who are coming to cheer on,
That's
because a
right.
lot of them either reside in the off season in the Atlanta area. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be
so much fun.
absolutely fun. You will see a ton of future WNBA probably picks. So we hope the Atlanta Dream grabs a couple ACC.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Jackie, when you look at where the ACC women's basketball tournament is today and the role that you play in shaping that, what is it that you're most proud of in your own journey, and what do you hope this tournament represents for the next generation of women in the game?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I didn't play in the ACC. I played at Furman University. I coached at Furman University. So what I'm most proud of is that I have the perspective of someone who's been trying to build women's basketball as a player, as a coach, and now as an administrator. I have the perspective of a student athlete that's coming. I came from a one bid league, so that's my mindset, is that I have to make this tournament as special for everyone, because there is no guarantee that any of these young ladies or these coaches are going to compete in the NCAA tournament.
Right.
Now, we're blessed in the ACC to have multiple teams that get that, but in my mindset is, if this is the last tournament that these players or coaches experience, it has to feel like it's the best tournament that we're executing. So I'm proud of the growth. Even, this will be my 3rd tournament in this role. I'm proud that we have sold out courtside seating year after year. I'm proud that we have expanded our hospitality. I'm proud that we treat this like this is a professional sport.
Yeah.
And we've tried out some things, and some things have worked and some things have not, and we continue to pivot. So
Yeah.
I'm proud of the growth. I'm proud of how many TV games are on. I manage how many our TV partnerships with ESPN and ACCN and the CW also has some games.
Yeah.
So I'm proud that we've had more TV games than we've ever had in this league. Just so the exposure is getting stronger.
Yeah.
It is my job to highlight ACC women's basketball, and I feel like our team is doing a great job of doing that.
Well, I feel like you're doing a great job
Well,
of doing
thank you,
that as
Stan.
well. So the tournament starts on Wednesday and goes through
does.
Sunday.
Yep.
Fan Fest is available on every single day of the tournament for sure.
Yeah.
So, Jackie, when the fans leave this tournament, what do you hope they say about the experience and about the ACC?
That was amazing. I had no idea. That's because we want to have those new fans. We want some folks that are just like, I just want to see some good women's basketball. So I want, next year we're in Charlotte. We go back home. But I want people to be like, gosh, I need to come to Charlotte, or we need to work as a community, as a state of Georgia, to get them back here.
Exactly.
I just want people to
I
be
just made a note
excited.
of that.
Yeah, you
I
made
made
a
a
note.
quick note of that, yeah.
Yes. We need more recruiters, Stan,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that recruiting mentality. But I want folks to be I'm so glad they came, and I hope they come back.
Yeah.
And I want folks to follow us on, TV when we're not here. I want folks to, latch on to going to Georgia Tech games, because that's your opportunity of seeing some local ACC talent. So Georgia Tech playing any of our other 17 schools. So that's what I want. I want people to say, gosh, that was a lot fun, and I would love to continue to follow ACC women's basketball.
100%.
Yeah.
So, Jackie, in wrapping up, I hope this is not the first time you've heard this, but I want you to know on behalf of our organization, we are thrilled to have you guys here for the ACC Championship. We're honored to have you guys here, and we can't wait to partner with you guys for what's going to be a fantastic week. So thank you for that, okay?
No, thank you, Stan. Your team has been absolutely phenomenal to work with,
Well,
and
thank
we
you.
are just thrilled to be here.
Well, Jackie, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and for sharing such great insight to the ACC Women's Basketball Tournament and the work that goes truly into making it a special event. For fans listening, this tournament is much more about just great basketball. It's about experience, energy, and celebrating the growth of women's game at the highest level. We appreciate all of you today tuning in for That's the Ticket. We look forward to seeing fans at the ACC Women's Basketball Tournament and continuing to bring your conversations that connect sports, community, and unforgettable experiences. Be sure to check out GasSouthDistrict.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and TikTok. You can find all episodes of Gas South District, That's the Ticket, wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll return soon for another episode of That's the Ticket. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us today, and we hope you enjoyed the episode. For show notes and further information about Gas South District and upcoming events, please visit our website at GasSouthDistrict.com. That's the Ticket.
I'm ready.
Ready?
I'm that guy that would leave his phone on him.
I was gonna say I had to make sure. Yes, thank you. Yeah, just mute it or do whatever. Just hide it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of Gas South District's That's the Ticket, the ultimate podcast exploring all things Gas South District and a source for insights to events on campus and discussions on the wider entertainment and tourism industry. Please welcome the host of our show, Stan Hall, CEO of Gas South District and Explore Gwinnett.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to That's the Ticket. I'm Stan Hall, and today we're talking about one of the premier events in college sports, the ACC Women's Basketball Tournament.